But what happens when you get in the ring finally with Conor Benn?
I'm going to devour that boy. That's it. It will get eaten in front of millions of people. Because I don't want to deal with them. You know, I want to deal with somebody like Turkey who is, who I trust.
He's got more money.
Chris Eubank Jr., at the Ring Magazine event, confirmed that the highly anticipated fight between him and Conor Benn is indeed happening. Eubank shared that negotiations with Benn's team are in the final stages, with both parties working out the last details of the deal, such as the date, location, and financial terms. He expressed confidence that the fight is close to being finalized and hinted at the magnitude of the event, which promises to be a major moment for both fighters and their fans. Chris Eubank stated, "I hope there is an announcement in the next week or two."
It's happening. We are extremely close to finalizing contracts and details on when and where and for how much. We're close.
When discussing the negotiation process and the question of concessions, Chris Eubank Jr., who had firmly insisted on a 55-45 split in his favor, credited the progress to the involvement of Turki Al-Sheikh, expressing gratitude for the efforts of His Excellency in facilitating the deal. Eubank made it clear that he had not compromised or buckled on his stance, particularly regarding his demands in the agreement. He explained that the necessary steps to finalize the fight had been accomplished thanks to the intervention and leadership of the Saudis, led by Al-Sheikh, bringing the highly anticipated bout closer to becoming a reality.
Thank Allah for His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh.
You're straight talker. What's happened? Come on, Chris, what's happened?
Turkey happened.
Turkey happened. That's a fair comment.
It's because I'm not buckling. I'm not giving it any inch, especially not to that guy. So what needs to be done, or what needed to be done to make the fight happen, has been done by the Saudis, and we're close.
Chris Eubank Jr. emphasized that the fight should take place in the UK, stating that he had made his preference explicitly clear during negotiations. According to Eubank, all parties involved were in agreement on this point, and he expressed confidence that the bout would be held in the UK, adding that he would be surprised if it were to happen elsewhere.
Can you tell us where the fight is going to take place? UK or Saudi Arabia? Well, you're not allowed to say that, really.
It should be in the UK. I've made it expressly clear that I want it in the UK, and I think all parties agree, so I would be surprised if it's not.
Eubank spoke to the Stomping Ground about the upcoming fight, reflecting on how the bout should have happened 2.5 years ago, but was ultimately cancelled just 2 days before the scheduled date. Despite the delay, Eubank expressed confidence that the fight will now be 3 times as big due to the buildup and anticipation surrounding it. He emphasized that the time spent waiting only adds to the excitement and significance of the clash. Eubank added, "It's extra everything now. It's not just about my dad and his dad. Now it's about me and him. There's a lot of bad blood. There's a lot of history there now."
It's crazy to think that this fight should have and would have happened 2.5 years ago. Went through a whole camp, went through a whole 2 months, 3 months of preparation for it to get cancelled 2 days before. And now we're here, and now it's going to be, 3 times as big. It's crazy how life works, huh?
When Gareth A. Davies asked Chris Eubank if 2025 would be more about world titles or a showdown rooted in his bloodline, Eubank replied that 2025 is a long year. He emphasized that it would involve everything, including world titles, massive fights, and much more yet to come. Chris further stated, "I want to be active. I want to fight at least 3 times this year."
Is 2025 headed towards a world title or a bloodline lineage showdown in your view?
2025 is it's 12 months. That means that there is everything. Everything is going to be involved in 2025. World titles, massive fights. It's all to come. I want to be active.
Conor Benn revealed that he has agreed to fights with both Mario Barrios and Chris Eubank Jr. He emphasized that he is open to either matchup and is willing to let things unfold to see which opportunity materializes first. Benn added, "They both mean a lot to me. One's winning the WBC title, one's legacy, so it's any of them. Just give me anybody at this rate."
The reality is I've said yes to Barrios, I've said yes to Eubank, so let's see which one unfolds.
Conor Benn praised Turki Al-Sheikh, stating that Turkey has changed the game of boxing. He acknowledged that Al-Sheikh has been instrumental in making significant fights happen, ones that the public truly wants to see. Benn highlighted Turkey's role in revolutionizing the sport and bringing high-profile matchups to fruition, which has elevated the overall excitement in the boxing world.
He has changed the game of boxing without doubt. You know, relevant to what anyone says, he has made the fights happen that the public want to see. He's changed the game.
Conor Benn expressed that he does not care about the split in negotiations, stating that Chris Eubank's belief in being the A side against fighters like Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin is part of the reason why so many potential fights have fallen through. Benn argued that the reality is that Eubank is not truly interested in fighting for a world title, and instead, Benn would prefer to fight in the welterweight division where he feels the real challenges lie. He highlights his frustration with the way some of the bigger fights have been held up by egos and inflated demands. Benn added, "I don't give a rat's what he wants, what he thinks, it makes no difference to me. As far as I am aware, I have said yes to fight for the world title. That's where things currently stand. I will fight for the WBC world title."
I don't care about no split. I don't care about no split. He thinks he was the A side against Canelo. He thinks he's the A side against Golovkin. That's why all these fights fell through. The reality is he don't want to fight for no world title, rather fight a welterweight.
While addressing the anticipation of stepping into the ring with Conor Benn, Eubank issued a fiery warning, declaring that he would devour Benn and leave him humiliated, promising to dismantle him in front of millions of spectators.
I'm going to devour that boy.
Straight up.
That's it. We will get eaten in front of millions of people.
Conor Benn's frustrations reflected, with the ongoing negotiations and his readiness to move on if Eubank is not serious about making the fight happen, stating that unless Chris Eubank comes correct with the terms, he should go fight other fighters like Hamza Shiraz, Janibek Alimkhanoli, or Arislandi Lara, and lose to all of them. He made it clear that he's willing to face the challenge, but expects Eubank to meet him halfway in order to make the fight a reality.
That's my choice. So, you know, unless he comes correct, go fight Shiraz, go fight Janibek, go fight Damas, go fight Lara, lose to every single one of them.
Chris Eubank revealed in an interview with Radio Raheem on Seconds Out that he does not have much affection for anyone in the boxing community, including prominent figures like Eddie Hearn. He expressed that, apart from his family and close friends, everyone else in the sport is considered the enemy in his view. However, Eubank clarified that despite these personal feelings, they still need to collaborate professionally to ensure business and fight deals are successfully executed.
I don't like anybody in boxing. I like my family, I like my team, I like my friends. Everyone else, in my opinion, is the enemy, Eddie Hearn included. But we have to make business deals. We have to work together, and that's what we are doing.
In a shocking revelation to Radio Raheem on Seconds Out, Chris Eubank Jr. shared that he does not watch boxing at all. Instead, he prefers UFC. After so many years in the sport, he explained that he has simply grown uninterested in watching others fight. Eubank admitted that despite occasionally enjoying exciting bouts, he does not find the need to sit down and watch boxing anymore. His focus seems to have shifted away from the sport, beyond his own fights. He added, "I am 35 years old. I have had 37 fights. I don't care about awards. I don't care about anything, aside from putting the biggest and best fights for the boxing fans, making as much money as I can, being the best fighter I can be."
You know what? You want to know something crazy? I don't watch boxing. I watch more UFC than I watch boxing.
No, you can't say that.
I mean,
even if it's true, what are you doing?
I know, but I've fought for so long. I've been in this game for so many years. I just don't want to go home and then sit down and watch guys box. Every once in a while you'll get some exciting fights, but in general, I'm not interested.
Eddie Hearn joined Eubank Jr. in the Seconds Out interview and expressed his optimism about the potential announcement of the fight between Eubank and Conor Benn in the coming weeks. Hearn acknowledged that while Eubank may have completed his side of the work, there are still some hurdles to overcome on their end before everything is finalized. Despite this, Hearn remained confident that the fight would come to fruition. He added, "We are committed to getting the fight done."
Are we looking at an announcement in the next week?
I hope so. We got some work to do. He might have done his side. We got some work to do.
Radio Raheem mentioned to Eddie Hearn that he had called out Chris Eubank Jr. for his harsh comments about Eddie and other promoters. Hearn responded, stating that he could not care less about what Chris had said, and emphasized that Chris would not care about what he had to say either. Hearn implied that the focus should remain on getting the fight finalized despite the friction between them.
I did have to pull him up on the harsh comments he made about you and other promoters earlier in this year, but he said that there's work to be done. There's a fight to be made. So are we putting some peace to that kind of back and forth?
He couldn't care what I say and I couldn't care what he says.
Chris Eubank Jr. contested the notion that his comments were harsh, asserting that he did not believe his words were over the top. In response, Eddie Hearn dismissed the issue, stating that he does not pay attention to what Chris says, just as Chris does not pay attention to him. Hearn made it clear that their personal dynamic would not impact the negotiations. However, Eddie stated, "When he was saying it, I was actually laughing. But then I looked over at some people and they were not laughing, so it depends."
I don't think the comments were harsh.
Well, they were pretty harsh. I mean, scumbag is a...
I don't really take any notice of you. You don't take any notice of me. If I was, everyone's different, aren't they? Like when he was saying it, I was actually laughing.
Eddie Hearn also gave credit to Turki Al-Sheikh, recognizing his ability to step in and resolve conflicts, removing egos from the process to make deals happen. Hearn admitted that he was not sure about the exact status of the negotiations, but pointed out that Eubank seemed positive about it. He expressed confidence they would work with Turkey to get their part of the deal sorted and finalize the fight. Eddie added, "Sometimes someone in the middle could go a long way, and in this case, he is the man to separate the arguments, the ego, and whatever, so we don't have to talk."
The best thing is His Excellency, who always does what he does, which is step in and get rid of the disputes, get rid of the egos, and do his deals. So clearly, I don't know where we're up to. He seems to sound very positive. I'm sure we'll talk to His Excellency and get our end over the line.
Ben Shalom, speaking with the Stomping Ground, expressed optimism about the fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. He stated that as long as no one makes any mistakes or interferes with the other, both fighters should reach the finish line without issue. He added that if everyone stays on track, he believes they will get to the final stages and have everything set within the next week or so. Furthermore, Ben stated, "It's been a marathon, but it will be worth it. If it happens, it's going to be an absolutely enormous event, not just for boxing, but for sport. It's going to be huge."
I think it's going to happen. We're in like the 100-meter sprint at the end of the race where as long as no one trips up or trips the other person up, we should both get to the finish line.
Frank Warren's legal case coming in.
Yeah, exactly. That's Frank's starting to stick his oar in and whatnot. But no, in all seriousness, as long as everyone stays on their feet, I think we're going to get there safely.
Adding further excitement to the scenario, Spencer Oliver, speaking on TalkSport Boxing, revealed that the highly anticipated fight between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is set to take place around April or May. He confirmed that the venue for the showdown will be the Tottenham Hotspur Football Stadium.
I do. I believe that will happen April/May time, and I think we could see that at Tottenham Hotspur Football Stadium.
That's very precise.
Just saying.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Carl Froch expressed his lack of enthusiasm for the upcoming bout between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, openly stating that he has no interest in seeing the fight. Froch criticized Eubank Jr., pointing out his age at 35 and questioning his accomplishments in the sport. Froch made it clear that this matchup does little to excite him.
It's a shame, isn't it?
It's a shame because
Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. That'll be out there, wouldn't it?
Conor Benn, Chris Eubank, will it? Is
well, I think it's highly likely.
Potentially,
but it's not guaranteed.
Well, to be honest, it can be out there for all I care because it's not. For me, it's not a fight I want to see.
Right, not excited.
Chris
by
Eubank Jr. is 35 years old, well past his best. What's he ever done? Lost to every time he stepped up.
Lost to George Groves, didn't he?
Lost to George Groves. Lost to Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah.
So every time he's stepped up, he's got found out. He got found out by Liam Smith.
As the highly anticipated fight between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn edges closer to becoming a reality, tensions are running high, both inside and outside the ring. With negotiations nearly finalized, the involvement of Turki Al-Sheikh has been crucial in bringing the fighters to the table, while both Eubank and Benn continue to express their confidence and determination to make the showdown happen. If all goes to plan, Eubank Jr. and Benn will finally meet in a ring for what promises to be an explosive and highly charged contest. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to give us a like. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this matchup? Drop your opinions in the comments section below. Show some support by subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Share this with a boxing fan, and we'll catch you next time with more exciting updates.